Hi, Timothy Unkert here. In this video, I want to demonstrate the ternary operator in C++. The ternary operator is a conditional operator, and I'm going to show you what that means in a moment. First off, what we're going to do is include our standard header file. So we do the hashtag include a space and then IO stream, and then we surround that with a left and right bracket, just like that. I'm also going to tell the program that I'm using the standard namespace by typing using namespace std and putting a semicolon. And I'm going to create my main function. So I'm going to type int main and open and closing parentheses, and then the code is going to go within inside the curly braces. So the first thing I want to do is create a string, and I'm going to call it result. And that's going to hold the result of the ternary operator. Okay. And we're going to just start off using numbers. So what I'm going to say is the result is equal to, and then in parentheses, I'm going to say 2 double equals 2, and then a question mark, which means this thing that comes after. If 2 does equal 2, then result is going to equal exactly what's after the question mark. So I'm going to say equal with a period, and then I'm going to do a space and a colon. And whatever comes after the colon is if 2 does not equal 2. So I'm going to put within quotes not equal. Okay. And I'm going to put a semicolon to end that. And then I'm going to print to the screen. So I'm going to type C out, 2 left brackets like this. And I can say something like the numbers are a space, and I'm going to add the strings. So we added that in the last video. So plus result, and then I'm going to end that line. And at the end of my main function, I'm going to return 0. Okay. I'm going to save this. And once we compile this and run it, we should get the numbers are equal because 2 does equal 2. Okay. So let's go do that. And I'm going to compile this with the command g++ ternary.c++, which is the name of the file, a -o for output, and then the name I'm going to call it, which is just ternary. So I'm going to hit enter. Everything compiled fine, and I'm going to run it with a period / and then the name that I compiled it to, ternary, and it says the numbers are equal, like we expected. Okay. Now, if I go up here and change the first number to 3, well, that's not true, right? So what's going to happen is it's not going to be this equal, it's going to be not equal. So we should get the numbers are not equal in this case. So let's save this. Let's open up a terminal. Let's go back and recompile. And now let's rerun, and we get the numbers are not equal, which makes sense, okay? So we can also use variables in here. So I can change, I can declare 2 integers. Let's say num1 and num2, and then I can say num1 equals 3, num2, let's say equals 4, and I can go here and replace this with integers. So we have num1 and num2, okay, and we can resave and recompile. And in this case, the numbers are not equal. So when I run this, it should say the numbers are not equal, right? Now, if I were to change number 2 to 3 so that they are equal and save it and then recompile and rerun, I'm going to get the numbers are equal, which makes perfect sense, right? Okay, so we can also use booleans here. So instead of a string, I'm going to say result is a boolean, and I declare type boolean with bool, a space, and then the name of the boolean. So let's call this boolean result. And we're not going to have a string here, so we're going to delete this. And if num1 equals number 2 is equal to, the double equals means is equal to, then we're going to say it's true. That's a Boolean value is either true or false. Okay, and then if it's not equal, we're going to say false. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to have another if-else conditional. So I'm going to say if, and then in parentheses, result. Now, when you say just if and then result, it means if the result is true, okay? And then within curly braces, I'm going to do something like C out. I'm going to print to the screen, the numbers are equal, okay? And then I'm going to end that line and close that. And if they're not true, so I'm going to have an else statement, and I'm going to do curly braces again and C out and say the numbers are not equal, okay? And then end that line. All right. And so we're going to print out one of those based on the ternary. Now, this is probably not the most efficient code because I'm using a ternary and then an if-else statement, but I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. So just keep that in mind if you're watching this and wondering why I'm doing that. Okay, let's open up the terminal and let's recompile and let's rerun. And we see that the numbers are equal. So we get the same thing. And if we change the numbers here, we should get this time when we recompile and rerun, we can get the numbers are not equal, okay? We can also get user input for this, okay? So what we can do is instead of setting these values here, let's just delete those two lines and we'll do a print to the screen, see out. What is the value of number 1? Okay, so now we're going to get user input, and we'll end that line. And to get user input, we'll do cin and 2 right brackets like that, and then the name of the variable, so num1. Okay, and then we'll do another cout. What is the value of number 2? And we'll end that line. Okay, and then we'll do cin and number 2. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take the user input. So let's open up a terminal and recompile and then rerun. Okay, so what is the value of number 1? We're going to say 3. What is the value of number 2? Let's say 4. So the numbers are not equal. Now we can mess this up. I want to show one more thing about boolean. So if result, that means if result is true. Well, you can also do an exclamation point in front. So that means if result is not true, okay? So if it's false. So in this case, when I run it, if I put 2 numbers that are not equal, it's going to say they are equal. And if I put 2 numbers that are equal, it's going to say they're not, okay? So let's run that. Well, first compile and then run. What's the value of number 1? Let's say 3. What's the value of number 4? We'll do something that's not the same, and we're going to get they're equal, okay? The numbers are equal because we're saying if result is false. Okay, so if we rerun this and we do 2 equal numbers, so 3 and 3, we get the numbers are not equal. Okay. So that's one thing we can do with booleans, okay? So we can have not true or false. Okay, so now that we have this user input, I want to rewrite this with the original ternary. So I'm going to change this back to a string here, and I'm going to just say result instead of true, we're going to put in quotes because this is a string now, equal. And instead of false, we're going to put not equal. Okay. And we're going to get rid of this stuff here, this if-else statement. And we're going to just do cout and print the numbers are, a space, and then plus the result like that. And then we'll end that line. So we're going to clean up this code a little bit with just using the ternary and a string. Okay, so let's open back up the terminal, recompile, and rerun. What is the value of number 1? Let's say 3. What is the value of number 2? We get 4. The numbers are not equal. If we rerun it, let's do 2 and 2. The numbers are equal. Okay, that covers pretty much what I wanted to cover with ternary operators, strings, user input, and booleans. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, could you please give it a like, as it will help get the video out to more people. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.